So you come over here and get down low, and what is this? Hello friends, welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to be taking a deep look into the first mission of what is considered by many to be the best Call of Duty campaign. This game came out back in the peak of COD's golden age. We had Modern Warfare.
Look at this place. 50,000 people used to live in the city. Now it's a ghost town.
Then World at War. Then Modern Warfare 2.
Remember, no Russian.
And finally, there was Black Ops. And the stories in those campaigns would split levels between different factions or units, but in Black Ops we follow the story of Alex Mason and don't really have the jumping around between different characters, aside from a flashback level. The story and the level Operation 40 starts in the iconic CIA interrogation room. The very first thing you hear is,
"Wake up!
Wake up! Wake up! Run, Russia, put a little makeup!"
and Mason's response is,
"Where am I? Where's Reznov?"
"Wait, I'm sorry, did you say Reznov?"
Tell me, where am I? Where's Reznov?
Even though this game isn't called World War II, or I guess World at War II, man, that's a little hard to say. Anyway, this game takes place in the same universe as World at War. Reznov isn't in this first level, but he'll play an important role at the end of it. The interrogator is trying to get answers from Mason. We later find out that it's Agent Hudson doing the interrogation, and Agent Hudson is Mason's handler, and we don't see him until the third level. And let's just say that things get more interesting with Hudson in Black Ops 2. But before Hudson is revealed as the interrogator, he wants Mason to tell his story and reveal what the numbers mean and where the broadcast is coming from, and a key part of that is Victor Dragovich. Now, Victor Dragovich is a Soviet general and scientist that wants to use a bioweapon called Nova 6 to attack the United States by brainwashing and using sleeper cells like Mason to unleash the gas. Naturally, the CIA would want to put a stop to this plan, and so Hudson tells Mason to start from the beginning.
61, Bay of Pigs. What happened?
We all got killed.
There's no use lying, Mason. We know you went in with Woods and Bowman.
Woods. Bowman.
The reason why the name of the level is Operation 40 is because it was a real program set up by the CIA to combat the spread of communism in Latin America. The program led to the Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961. It took place here in an area called Bahía de Cochinos, which means Bay of Pigs. The level starts in a bar called Santa Maria, which we can guess that it might be in one of these towns here next to the bay, but it doesn't say specifically. You, Woods, and Bowman are meeting a contact named Carlos.
Who say my name?
Who provides intel about the plan for the invasion. Right up until...
You got company.
So these police show up and say, "Take out your papers now." And he says, "Get out of here, you dang capitalist." And then the woman says, "Don't touch me." And finally the other cop says,
I said, where you from?
I'm from right here, right now.
when the gunfighting starts, if you come back behind the bar, you'll see some different names here, and no one knows whose names these are, and apparently they don't show up in the credits either, so it's still a big mystery, even after all this time. This part of the level goes pretty quick. It's the only part of the level where you'll actually be in a city or a town in Cuba. Throughout this level, there will be plenty of images of Fidel Castro. In the beginning, it says that the purpose of this level was to assassinate Fidel Castro during the Bay of Pigs. It turns out that the purpose of the Bay of Pigs invasion was mainly to overthrow Castro's government, and it's not believed that assassinating Castro was actually part of that plan, but that certainly doesn't mean that the US didn't try to take Castro out. Some of those instances include poisoned or exploding cigars. There was even the idea floating around of using exploding seashells where Castro liked to die. A simplified explanation of the reason why there were these attempts by the US was because Castro overthrew a pro-American dictator named Fulgencio Batista, and when he came to power, he seized American businesses in Cuba and declared Cuba a socialist state. Operation 40 was created by the Eisenhower administration, but by the time the Bay of Pigs actually happened, our commander-in-chief was JFK. Again, it was created to stop the spread of communism, and since Cuba is the closest Latin American country to not actually share a border with the US, turning things around in Cuba was high on the priority list. Practically all the ground forces during the invasion were Cubans trained by the CIA. They were known as Brigade 2506, so most likely in the story our friend Carlos here was part of that brigade. Apparently the only Americans that participated in the invasion were pilots flying B-26 bombers. 4 of those Americans were killed when their planes were shot down. With how secretive these operations were, who knows if there could have secretly been operatives on the ground like Mason, Woods, and Bowman, but supposedly there weren't any Americans on the ground, or so they say. Once the 3 of them had escaped the cops, we flash forward to when they were just outside Castro's compound. But apparently Castro didn't have a compound in the area, and when the invasion actually started, Castro was in the capital of Cuba in Havana, and then he mobilized forces after the invasion began. After you zipline into the compound, you have to take out the radio operator, and this feels very similar to a certain level in Black Ops 2, but only it didn't go as smoothly.
You son of a...
As you fight your way through the compound, you'll start with an M16 and an ASP. The Bay of Pigs took place in 1961 and the M16 went into service in 1967, so the guns that were actually used at this time were guns that you probably have used before in your Call of Duty career. For those Cubans that were trained by the CIA, they would have used guns like the M1 Garand, Thompson, or Bar, and Castro's army would have used guns like the PPSH, Mosin Nagant, and SKS. As you fight your way through, you'll eventually make it to your target. As Eminem would say, you only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow Castro's head off. And with that shot, Castro's reign is over, and Cuba is back to being in good graces with the US, unlike this lady here. Alright, so maybe this isn't how things ended for Castro. He actually lived until 2016, so that means he was alive when this game came out. He never made an official comment about it, but Cuba's state-run media was very vocal about not being very fond of this level. But hey, it turns out that Castro didn't die here in the Call of Duty universe either. If you hover the crosshairs over the body, they'll still turn red as if he's really alive. You actually just shot a body double instead. It's now high time to hightail it out of there. As the level goes on, some of these voices may sound familiar. Woods is voiced by James C. Burns, who is always going to be Woods in my mind.
Control of covert operations in Southeast Asia. Handed over to the US military.
Then you have Sam Worthington as Alex Mason, who is in Clash of the Titans, Hacksaw Ridge, and a little known movie franchise called Avatar.
You cannot live like this, baby. In hate.
Plus, did you know that he's Australian?
We're all trying to find our tribes. We're all trying to find a clique.
I had no idea.
Austria! Well then, g'day, mate.
Bowman is voiced by a man by the name of Ice Cube, who's known for Are We There Yet?
Wrong answer.
Now, I've played this level a few different times, and there isn't a whole lot of exploring you can do. It keeps you on a very linear path, which is pretty par for the course on Call of Duty levels. You eventually escape the compound and do the world's fastest rappel into the airfield. You then fight your way to board the plane. Now, I'm guessing that this is an AC-130. I thought maybe it could be a B-26 bomber, but this plane looks more like an AC-130 than a B-26. But like the M16, the AC-130 didn't enter service until 1967, so it could be chalked up to creative liberty instead of historical accuracy. As you're taking off, you heroically jump off the plane and use a ZPU, which actually was around at the time, and take out the vehicles blocking the runway.
Goodbye, my love.
The next part happens fast, but you get taken captive by Lev Kurchenko, who is Dragovich's BFF / right-hand man. You wake up and oh, look who it is. This is one of the most important parts of the whole campaign because we learn that Castro's alive and that Dragovich has plans for Mason that cause him to hear the numbers, and we also see the location of where the broadcast is actually coming from. We just don't know it yet at this point. After the scene, Dragovich brainwashes Mason, but Reznov is able to tamper with the programming and is able to instill his own motives into Mason's head.
My name is Victor Reznov. And I will have my revenge!
It's Victor Reznov, and I will have my
Revenge! Mason, no!
Now I guess I should explain that the person seen here is Friedrich Steiner, who's a German scientist from World War II that developed the Nova 6 gas that Dragovich wants to use. He hails from a town in Germany called Hamburg.
Berger.
After the war, Nova 6 wasn't fully developed, so Steiner kept working on it in a stranded cargo ship. The CIA wanted to keep Steiner alive so that they could learn about how to counter the gas, but Mason couldn't resist Reznov's programming. The gas has appeared in Zombies levels like 5 and Kino der Toten, where these mutants are products of the Nova 6 gas. It's also a key part of Perseus' plan in Black Ops Cold War as well. The reason why Reznov wants Steiner dead is to avenge Dmitry Petrenko. You have to say it in a Russian accent, but he's the Soviet protagonist in World at War. Reznov saw Dmitry cheat death multiple times, but later on in the flashback level, Reznov has to helplessly watch him fall victim to Nova 6. And this makes you hate Dragovich, Kravchenko, and Steiner just as much as Reznov does. One of the things that makes this campaign so great is that Reznov, who's one of the best Call of Duty characters, is in this game throughout the campaign, and that there's a Sixth Sense level twist where you realize that he wasn't there all along, and that you assume that the other characters have interacted with him, but if you pay close attention, you realize that there are signs that things aren't what they seem.
Are these your men?
Woods, Bowman.
I am Rez. What took you so long, Mason? That intel better be worth it.
This mission is an awesome level. It may not come to your mind when you think of best levels in COD history, but hopefully you were able to learn something new about it, or at least the context around it. The last thing I wanted to mention is that the US and Brigade 2506 underestimated Castro's forces.
I underestimated you.
Yeah, well, maybe next time you will estimate me.
And because of that, things didn't go well, and all of the members of Brigade 2506 that weren't killed were captured. So it was considered a tragedy. Thank you for watching. I'm going to be coming out with more videos like this in the future. I'm not sure if I want to go chronologically in order, or jump around to other missions throughout the series. Let me know what you think, and if you want to see more of Reznov, check out this video on Vendetta from World at War. Thanks for watching, have a BLEST blessed day.
Good day, mate.